Shalom. I am not going to be able to get on with my day until I rant about this. So, Paul Vanderklay did an interview with Gregg Hurwitz, and it's in the members only channel. And Gregg Hurwitz is one of these people who really trigger me. And as one of the primary teachings of Hasidism is, like, God shows you these things which trigger you in order to help you see your own flaws. And I couldn't keep on watching that interview when he spoke with Jordan Peterson after the 2020 election. I was just sitting there fuming the entire time. And when Russia invaded Ukraine, I went to his Twitter and wrote the most nasty tweet I could compose. There are times when you can't blame someone because they are doing their best. And then there are times when people in their great capacity give you real hope that they can do something good. And you see them just completely do the opposite. And that is precisely how I feel every time I hear Gregg Hurwitz talking, for example, about how great of a friend he is with Jordan Peterson and how he doesn't actually care about politics at all, and how he tries to be brutally honest with himself, and then admit and recognize how wrong it is that people would demand of him to completely cut off his relationship with Jordan Peterson, or not speak with somebody like Ben Shapiro, who is obviously a very intelligent person. And then go ahead and do what he did during the 2020 election, which, if you listen to his discussion with Jordan Peterson, he says that he saw Trump and he's like, why has the world gone so wrong? Good question. I'm glad he asked it. And in Paul's interview, he says he started, thinking, okay, so the Democrats must have done something incredibly wrong. Well, couldn't possibly have been as bad as and this is what Jonathan Haidt does as well, but the Republicans are definitely worse, right? In a very real sense, I mean, this, for me personally, comes down to Judaism and Christianity. Am I doing that which he is doing in regards to, well, he comes from all of these presuppositions of that the Democrats are the right people and the smart people and the good people, and the Republicans, they're nice enough. I mean, he's not so callous and horrible of a person to think that the Republicans have completely lost their minds, But there is this there is this presupposition that, of course, the Democrats are right. And then, so he saw the 2016 election, and then he looks at the 2020 election. He's like, "Oh well, we have to get rid of Trump." And really, I would say, take a look at his discussion with Jordan Peterson right after the election, where he talks about he tried to engage with the Democrats, and and Jordan Peterson, being the person that he is, has also tried very much to help Gregg help the Democrats. But obviously, Jordan Peterson has recognized that they can't be helped. And Gregg Hurwitz himself recognized that the Democrats didn't want his help, could not accept his help. And so I believe he said these precise words. He said, "I will help them. I decided I will help them despite themselves." And so he did. And he created commercials in key states, and he helped the Democrats win. And this is the rigging that I talk about when I talk about the rigging of the 2020 election. It's not, I don't believe that, somebody went and changed votes or stuffed ballot boxes. That's not how it worked. People like Sam Harris and Gregg Hurwitz. And if you haven't watched the Sam Harris trigonometry interview, you really should, because it really describes the type of mentality that Gregg Hurwitz had, which is, we need to do anything necessary to get rid of Trump, including elect someone like Biden, who is completely incompetent and incapable of winning, would not have won the election by himself. It was only after the Gregg Hurwitz interview that it became obvious to me that there were a bunch of capable people like Gregg Hurwitz who decided, we're going to help the Democrats win. 1,000 mules is beside the point. It really is. And so Gregg Hurwitz went, okay, I'm gonna have to win this election for the Democrats. And obviously he has vastly more resources available to him than I ever will. And he was able to do what he was able to do. And when you watch an interview with Paul Vanderklay, I couldn't keep on watching because it's somebody who obviously wishes to be brutally honest with himself, and is far more honest with himself than I think most people are. But he cannot bring himself to say, hold up here. It's Ben Shapiro who's willing to talk to me. I don't know anything about politics, but Ben Shapiro does. And Jordan Peterson is this great luminary, right? More like Gregg Hurwitz, am I right? I guess part of it is just disappointment, because Joe Biden could not have won that election, I don't think, without the help of people like Gregg Hurwitz. And there is a serious question that anyone with a real sense of intellectual humility um, would have, in which they would say, if this person can't win the election to be president of the United States, maybe they shouldn't be president of the United States. If these people are telling me that I can't even speak to Jordan Peterson, if these people are telling me I can't even speak to Ben Shapiro, maybe these are the cultists. Maybe this is the cult. And honestly, like, I think it triggers me because that is what I fear about myself most of all. That I like to think of myself as being more insightful than a large number of people. I'm not the dumbest person in the room. I thought a lot about my relationship with John Vervaeke, for example. Right. I believe John Vervaeke is the most important intellectual alive today. I think he is standing at a place where his ideas and his capacities could really do a lot of good work in the world. So at Chino, I said to him, if you want to be on my channel, I will have you on my channel. I don't think you should come on my channel. But I don't think I am smarter than him. And if he wants to come on my channel is at his disposal. And part of the reason for that is, he said, well, because you said that, I am going to have to think about it and consider it, and maybe I shouldn't come on your channel. And that's why I think he is a person who I should, in fact, outsource my cognition to. I should, in fact, put a level of trust in. And Mark on Sunday was talking a lot about submission. Willing to submit, not always, not on everything, but just generally being willing to submit when necessary, right? And just an ounce more of intellectual humility than Hurwitz has. And that's the problem. Like, if he was completely clueless, it wouldn't be so bad. It really wouldn't be so bad. It's that he's not clueless. He knows nothing about politics, and he admits it. So why are you stepping in on a presidential election as your first campaign and getting elected someone who is too incompetent to accept your help. Explain that to me. Explain that to me. I think that the comparison to Sam Harris is very apt. I don't think it's intellectual dishonesty. I think it's a lack of wisdom. A moral fault. I'll say the same thing I said about Sam Harris, which is misplaced trust in a distributed cognition. In a distributed cognition that has not failed him. At the same time, I think he has to recognize that does he have any sense that Jordan Peterson might be right in his alliance with the Daily Wire? I don't think so. I don't think he even considers it. I keep on saying that if Christianity were true, I would like to believe that I would be willing to recognize that. And there's a lot of people who think that, no, well, of course you wouldn't. You come from a Jewish background. You have you with your presuppositions, you have no capacity to accept the truth where you come from. And I hope that's not true. I hope that if Jesus is clearly, or even arguably, or even secretly, the Jewish Messiah, that my studying of Judaism would make that clear to me. And then I look at somebody like Gregg Hurwitz, who in the political realm is able to mention all of the things that are so he's a pretty good Gentile Messiah. Yeah. I mean, he's King of the Gentiles. He's gotten that down. Don't know what to tell you. The obvious contradiction of saying you know nothing about politics but supporting one side is a fairly clear issue. Yeah. I mean, and honestly, these are the things I worry about. Like, I worry about my involvement in the CRC stuff. I worry about my involvement in people's lives. I hope I am no more clueless than that I am only as clueless as my capacity as my bounds. That I'm doing my best. That was my rant.